This is Season 2, Episode 25 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we've got new points. And not the new points, just new points.
That's a good point, actually. There have been new points since we did this game. But yeah, we are using the XWA points because they're quite frankly fun and exciting. And I like what they've done with them. There are so many choices.
So many things you can do.
Imperials and Scum particularly have caught my eye. And to that note, let's jump straight into the lists. And I am bringing Scum today.
What a
and I've gone for, I don't know, something that I think might be fun. So I've got a double jump master list. I have Nom Lum, who has sync laser cannons, Zam, Wessel, and Dengar. Because Nom Lum's ability of he must turn his turret arc when he is declared the defender to an arc that has the attacker in it means that Zam and Dengar will always trigger.
Yep.
Which is quite nice. I've got Tel Travera with Cutthroat, Sync Laser Cannon, Quill, Mix Mayfield, and False Transponder codes. So I can double tap with a Sync Laser followed by the primary. Cutthroat and Quill will hopefully A, keep him alive longer, and B, possibly bring him back from the dead twice, depending. But with that, I've got one of my favourite ships, possibly in the game actually, which is the Lancer class. I love the Lancer. It just looks cool. It's fun.
Yeah, it really does.
And I've got Ketsu. For dishing out those tractors with the title. And then Contraband and Notorious. And then Unkar Plut, which for anyone who doesn't know, it's a crew card. And basically when you partially execute a maneuver, you may suffer 1 damage to perform a white action. The thinking there being you do that, you take a target lock. You could then in theory red focus if you've bumped into an enemy. You then tractor them away at the start of the engagement phase, so the range 1, and blat them.
Easy peasy.
And that leaves me 4 points left over. And I've opted for Cad Bane in the rogue class because Cad is fun. His ability of he has 2 charges, 1 recurring, and if you perform an attack that hits, you can spend both charges to transfer 1 red token to the opponent. It can screw with your opponent's plans, depending on what you're transferring over. But if you combine that with the Zuckuss crew, which if you're not stressed, you may take a stress token to make the defender reroll 1 dice. And if you then hit, you can pass that stress over, so it's penalty free for you.
Yes. And it can also ruin, like, there's so many things you can do to ruin people's day. Like,
yeah.
Pass over a lock that someone was planning on using to fire munitions with.
Yes. And then I had some points left over, so he has got proton cannons because it just works so well with the rogue class dead to rights ability, and marksmanship for many crits.
Yeah.
And Sam's gone back to what, 2020?
2020, we got a droid swarm. Well, a little later than 2020. I'm pretty sure the Geonosian prototypes were later than 2020, but I could be misremembering. Either way, I have 3 hyenas. 2 of them are Techno-Union bombers with plasma torpedoes, proton bombs, and delayed fuses. And then I have the Siege of Coruscant Bactoid prototype with homing missiles, contingency protocol, and the strut lock override, because it's 2 points in the new point system. Like, it's basically, like, insanely good value health for points value.
Well, that's it, isn't it? 5 health for 2 points behind 2 greens is...
Yeah. And it also has the same gun as a Vulture does, so, you know...
Yeah.
Why not? Then I also have 2 Geonosian prototypes. One has energy shells and the Kraken tactical relay to keep those calculators around, and the other has energy shells and synced laser cannons, again, because these are both 3 points, so massive efficiency on droids. And then I have 3 Vultures, 2 Howard Child prototypes with energy shells and struts, and DFS 311 with energy shells and struts. Now, anyone watching the YouTube will notice there are no struts here. It's because I had forgotten that Yasby does not automatically add struts to your ships anymore, so I just printed it out, and we realise very shortly what's happened. But it's not really something that is going to impact the game a whole lot. I can still flip the stuff.
Like we know that they've got struts, we can play around it. It's not
Yeah.
a massive issue.
So yeah, 8-ship droid swarm. Basically, everything has a munition of some sort. Yeah, bring it.
So we roll off scenario, and we are playing salvage.
Scramble.
Scramble. That's what I meant. I knew it started with S. Which, unfortunately, I think heavily favours you.
Yes, because I just have a lot more actions I can use to tag objectives.
Yeah, with the network calculations, so long as some of your ships have calculate and Kraken keeping them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're pretty sorted. Yeah. And you're first player for turn 0.
Yes, and so my rock plan, well, my objective plan is I essentially want to force a fight. So I slap my objective basically on my far right, basically as far away from the middle as I can, and about 3/4 of the way up the board, because I want it to be very far away. And then Sean has the choice of he can opt into this is the only half of the map that matters and place it on the same side, or he can place it on the other side, and then I have probably 2 objectives that are close to each other, and then 1 that is far away.
Yeah. I place mine on the other side as far up as I can.
Yeah, in the standard spot, basically. And then my rock plan is basically I want to force Sean to basically be opposite me, and so I spend all of my rock placements basically jamming it on my right-hand side, close to that right-hand side objective, to make it so that if Sean wants to put large bases there, it's going to be really annoying. Because I want to invite open space for his large bases to come in, so then I can basically slap a block of droids there.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I should win a head-to-head.
See, it's interesting because I look at this. Your rock placement works basically, and we end up with a large space in the center, a large gap on the right-hand side. Yeah. I wonder whether I should have just jousted, because between Dead to Rights, the proton cannon, the tractor, the double tap from Sync Laser.
Assuming, well, I guess the thing is, there's probably no point umming and ahhing, but like I feel like your joust definitely kills 1, maybe 2, depending on who you decide to focus. Because obviously, I'm gonna get to shoot with something before Nom Lumb goes.
Yeah.
So you've got 3,
but you also can't
shots.
But you can't initiative kill Nom Lumb. If I can trade Nom Lumb, or even Tell, to be fair, doesn't die, so that'd be even better. My assumption is you probably don't go into Tell.
Yeah.
But if, say you go into Nom... If I could trade Nom Lumb over the entire engagement for your 3 vultures...
Yeah, I just wonder... this is the thing, like, I don't know how likely that would be, because obviously a straight-up line, it's not quite so simple as a straight-up line, is it? And Tel Travera's double tap is only into someone with a red token.
So red or orange token.
Yes. So exactly. So my point is, you've got either Cad Bane and Ketsu to put tokens on. So that's who you can double tap into.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting far too deep into options on that. In my head, I feel like I should win this head to head, because I will definitely kill 1 ship and probably lose 2. And if I keep up that trade, then I will win. Is the way I look at the ships.
I suppose the flip side of that is, as you lose more, it's harder and harder for you to keep up that trade. But as you say, we're going slightly on a tangent and hypothetical.
I mean, we essentially see what happens, right? Because we functionally joust.
I mean, we do. Yeah. I set up. Sorry. We do, just slightly delayed, right?
Essentially, I'm setting up everything except my 2s, but I'm playing droids. Sean knows where my 2s are going after I've set up all my 1s. I set up the 3 vultures and the backdoor prototype in basically a line of 4 in my left-hand side, aiming at this quite large open space. So I can basically go forward and I can turn into the center. There's a great big space to go into, and I'm happy. And then I put my 2 torpedo bombers in the back row, essentially like in the far left again. So I've basically made... a row of 4 and then a row of 2 just behind it, and then there are 2 spots to the right of my Techno-Union Bombers, where the gunships are going to go, almost certainly.
Yeah. I set up Nom Lum just to the left of the bottom right rock because he's going to go slow and bank through the gap because I'm pretty sure your droid's coming down that way. Tell goes next to him to just do a faster bank round and come in with him. Cad goes on the left-hand side and below the objective, so he can go and tag that one and at least net me a few points before coming in. And I actually wonder, I think I should have put a different ship there if I was going to do that. And I actually wonder if putting Nom Lum there would have been a better call. Because
I think it would have been, because he's the one you don't care about the most.
Well, yes and no. It's also, he's the... If you just go into him and he dies, I don't get much value out of those 4 points. If I shove Tell down your throat, like, if you go into him, great, comes back.
Yeah.
You know, if I try and keep Ketsu safe for at least the initial engage, obviously hard with all the munitions you've got, but if I can edge it so she's range 3 or jam right in so she's range 0 of something, and the shell's 2 to 3, right?
Yeah, shells.
Yeah, so probably jam in then and try and get range
just
1.
Just eat range 1 shots instead of shells.
Because yeah, it's the same dice, but at least I'm not taking the crits.
Not extremely likely crits, because that's just how shells are.
And I think much as Zam and Dengar are fun, I think actually the proton cannon, Zuckuss, and Dead to Rights on Cad would be more useful.
Yes, especially because you're going to line a bullseye up against something. I have too many ships for you to not get that.
Yeah. So, like, I don't mind if I put a ship out there to claim it. Because you've set up on the opposite corner, it's going to take you a few turns if you're going to send something over there to claim it. So at least, like, on this, I need every point I can get off the scenario. I need to, because sooner or later, you just have enough actions to be able to claim them back almost penalty-free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a wrong choice of which ship. But that's hindsight. And I set up Ketsu... basically the other side of that rock, just to the left of Tell, because I want to bank her fast so that she can basically skirt round the jump masters and jam herself in to something at range 0, because it's what she wants to do. Yeah. So let's get to it.
We are. Let's get to it. So the first turn is pretty straightforward. I yeet forward and I calculate.
I pretty much do. I 1 straight with both the jump masters to go slow. I do a 3 bank with Ketsu to try and get round. It's a little tighter than I wanted, but she's just in front of Tell. And Cad's just done a 2 straight so that he can bank in next turn, still be range 1 of the objective, and tag it.
Yeah, so we are quite literally set up for a turn 2 joust. Basically, because every one of my ships went 4 forward. I use Kraken to give DFS a calculate and the 2 Techno-Union bombers a calculate, and then it's pretty much go time.
The issue I have here is because Ketsu's a lot closer than I thought she'd be. I was hoping I'd be able to bank Tell in faster, should I say?
Yeah,
and then Ketsu would basically effectively come alongside.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to bank Tell slow enough that he gets past Ketsu. And I actually think I should have done a 1 bank. I think that clears looking at it from this angle. But and then Ketsu's got to go fast enough to jump over.
And on my end, my mistake is, like, although I didn't want to go fast because I didn't want to risk getting shot, my DFS 311, he's just short of a rock, which means he has to 1 hard onto it because he can't clear it otherwise. Which means he's basically not doing anything next turn, which is why I made him keep the calculate so he can pass 1 around and keep 1 to bank.
Yeah.
And it's sort of annoying because I'm like, if I'd just gone slower with that right hand side, I could have done 2 straight onto the rock, been the exact same spot, and then just be facing the right way.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, he's going to grab an objective, but I would rather him be looking at either you.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. So I'm first player for this turn, which means Nom Lum goes first. And I swing a 3 bank round and I focus.
Yeah. So then my entire list, basically 2 banks to the right, and in a series of barrel rolls linked into actions, essentially, I get a bunch of calculates and some target locks onto Nom Lum, and we're just playing the right killer ship and hope. The 2 Technetium bombers, however, don't need to barrel, which is quite nice. The Geonosian prototype just does a 2-bank and calculates. DFS 1 hearts onto the rock and claims the objective, and my Kraken carrier does a side slip to the left and calculates. So now, basically, I'm lined up at an angle facing your entire list, which is where I kind of want to be.
Yeah. Tell does do a 1 bank, so I must have talked myself into that. And I think just takes a focus. Cad does a 3 bank and claims the objective. And Ketsu 5 straights to get in everyone's face. And claims the center objective. I am denied about a focus there, but as I said before, I need as many points off the objectives as I can. A couple of turns are 2-1 up. I can't afford to pass up. So, start of the engagement phase. I pass a tractor to the pink HMP. And I boost you forward. And then I blat into you.
Yeah, because I decline to pass a calculate with DFS because I just want to keep it on himself for the minute because I want to try and keep it for next round and live, but we'll see.
Ketsu pumps 3 hits into you.
So there go the shields.
Tell spends a focus to pump 3 hits into you, and then Migs bonus attacks into Brown and puts a crit on you.
Yeah, so one of my Howard Charles takes a stunned pilot, I want to say.
Damage sensor array.
Damage sensor array, that's the one.
Yeah.
So my gunship is alive, which is a nice change of pace. He will at least get to shoot.
Cad has no shot, so it goes over to you.
And then I just unload everything into Nom Lum.
Yeah.
So the first gunship ends up with hit crit after.
I mean, we don't really need to go through the effectively. You kill Nom Lum. You launch.
I kill Nom Lum with the homing missile from the Bactoid prototype. Yeah. I believe Nom Lum shoots into my gunship and. I shoot
into your pink gunship and finish it off. And then you unload all your ones into Nom Lum and kill him.
Yeah,
which is not a good trade for me.
Yeah, basically all the shells get fired, plans get fired, rolling dice.
I mean, it was
calculates.
It was
it
close
comes down
enough.
To the exact last shot.
Like I thought, there's a chance I do this, but no.
So then we scored 2 points to you, 1 point to me. So I'm currently 6-5 up. I'm feeling okay because I've removed a ship and I've traded it for 1.
Yeah.
And whilst the Geonosian prototype sure is more points than lots of other things, if I'm trading 1 ship for 1,
you
fantastic.
Yeah, you smash it, completely smash it.
And then I mean my list isn't subtle. Next in line, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. I do make a couple of mistakes here with choices.
So I drop a pair of proton bombs.
Yeah.
Because I figure Ketsu is either doing some weird turn, because all her blues are 3s. So either she's turning over the rock, and then, fine, she's running away, or she's 5k.
Yeah. Road's now irrelevant because we don't overlap.
Yeah.
So it goes to your entire list.
So DFS 311, 2 straights off the rock and claims the center objective. And then everyone, I believe, 3 straights and either calculates target locks, and one of my High Charles barrels into a calculate just to make sure he can tell if you move. My tubs do 2 straights and then barrel to the left and link it into target locks onto tell because I need to get them out of the way of my Kraken carrier, which is a bit unfortunate on my part. And then my Kraken carrier does a 2 straight and calculates. No, 3 straight and calculates.
Tell does a 4 straight because I thought it would clear Ketsu. Spoilers, it doesn't. It's close, but it doesn't. I knew you were going to come forward, it's what your list does. Yeah. But my assumption was if I can clear Ketsu, bump into one of your ships so it's range 0, and then get the red focus, then that's fine, I suppose.
Then you're doing all right, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a friendly bump. I don't think I take a damage from it, but I don't get the focus, which isn't ideal. And I think I should have just one banked, because
Yeah.
then I don't take the risk of bumping Ketsu,
Not
and
clearing
quite frankly,
Ketsu, yeah.
something of yours was going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
There's going to be something there you could bump into, like...
And even if I don't
basically-
bump, then I'm just
Yeah.
range at, normal focus.
Yeah, like, I think realistically, chances are you were hitting one of my ships
Yeah.
no matter where you went.
Cad does a 4 straight, and is a little sad because he hasn't lined up the bullseye on DFS, and I'm pretty damn confident that a barrel roll would just skirt
skip the other
over.
side.
But mistake number 2 in this round, I'm pretty sure I'm range 1 of the centre objective.
Yeah, you definitely are.
And I should have claimed it. I should have just tagged it back. But I don't. I focus into a boost because I think it will line up the bullseye on the HMP gunship for a proton cannon.
Yeah.
I'm reasonably confident where your HMP is that the 4K that Ketsu's about to do will land on the other side, range 1 of the HMP, so I can lob a tractor onto it. And if I can get that Kraken carrier off the board, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I focus boost.
So it was very interesting. The moment you did that, I was like, oh, thank Christ, because that means he doesn't want to shoot DFS, and DFS can go claim your back objective.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take a couple of turns to get there, but I'm like, oh, my Vulture is probably safe.
So this is really turning into my round of mistakes. Mistake number 3 is doing the 4K with Ketsu.
5K, right?
5K, sorry. Because I knew that there would be bombs there, and I was just going, right, fine, I've got 2 shields, I'll take the bombs. I should have just gone slow and bumped, because it just guarantees that I have something to pass a tractor over to, and I can make that range 1. Again, a 1 bank to the right would have been the right call, because I couldn't go straight, I'd hit the rock. Although I wouldn't, because your gunship's there, but I didn't know exactly where it would be.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't space to maneuver like a 5K the next turn, like, I've got blue 3 hards. Like, I can swing back round into the fight pretty quickly. I can rotate the turret if I'm not getting that front shot for the tractor shenanigans. I shouldn't just be so quick to deal away free damage.
Yeah, especially in a trade list.
Yeah. So mistake number 4, because I've popped contraband, and I take a target lock on the Geonosian prototype because I think I'm about to give him a tractor. What I should have done was claimed the bottom objective.
Yes.
Because what I could be right now is 3-0 up on objectives.
Yeah, you absolutely could be.
Yeah.
And that would be backbreaking.
Yeah. So, because Ketsu takes the 2 bombs, and we come to the tractor shenanigans, and the prototype is range 2.
Interestingly enough, actually, I just clocked this. When you were taking the target lock, we all knew you in range. You should have measured.
I should have measured.
Because maybe you'd have changed your mind on who you wanted. Because obviously, you also, when you hit someone with an attack, you put a tractor on them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have. I still would have shot the prototype because I've got the proton cannon from CAD.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I should have measured. But yeah, unfortunately, the nubs are range 1. It's literally that close. The nubs are range 1.
Unfortunately, that does not count.
That does not count. So no tractor. You do pass a calculate over with DFS.
Yep, because I figure DFS is probably safe, and chances are he's not going to do a whole lot to CAD, so let's just get a tractor over onto the bundle who's about to pile into Tel Travura.
Yeah. I shoot range 2 into the prototype with Ketsu. I roll crit, blank. I spend the lock into a blank.
And I... Do I not spend the calculate?
You do spend the calculate. Well, I've only taken 1 shield off.
Oh, I probably have 2 calculates. That's what it is. I probably have 2 calculates and it's just stacked up.
But I have chopped the tractor over because tractor shenanigans. Tel, I believe, goes into the same prototype, rolls trail mix. So plinks 1 through. Yep. And then I mix, I think, into the grey
Vulture.
I get hit crit because it's range 1.
I roll evade, so takes
A
a
crit.
hit crit.
Yeah, and that is a stunned pilot.
Knew there was one somewhere.
And then I proton cannon into
The gunship.
the gunship. It is range 2, so no orange for you. I roll like 3 hits and a crit, and with the proton cannons and marksmanship, that's 1 hit and 3 crits.
I take a giant pile of crits, console fire, loose stabilizer, hull breach, but don't die.
But don't die. Console fire
I
doesn't roll a damage.
And so then I just start shooting, and so yeah, we shooting into Tel Travura with our regular gun. I got 2 hits after something or other.
I mean, you basically unload everything into Tel again.
Yeah.
Oh, into Tel this time. I roll quite well on the greens, I have to say.
Basically, I don't kill Tel.
He goes down to 2 left with a hull breach.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, DFS does plink off a shield off CAD, so go Vulture, I guess.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I think, and now I'm in trouble.
But it's interesting because actually, I thought I was the one in trouble.
So the reason I think I'm in trouble is Tel is there, and it is really awkward for my droids to turn in with Tel being there. I also screw up massively, which doesn't help. But because that ship is still there, I don't have the easy turn into CAD.
Yeah, that's fair. But I was thinking
that's the I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble because your ship is still alive and blocking me.
Yeah. Whereas I was thinking, where do I put Tel that doesn't get in the way of Ketsu?
Yeah.
I was thinking, how can I get CAD to shoot one of your droids where he just doesn't take the entire list back? And at the same time, I'm 6-8 down, and I'm currently going 2-1 down on objectives.
Yeah.
And I damn well know DFS is going down to claim that bottom one.
Yeah.
But it's like,
DFS is free!
Yeah, what can I do about that? Like, I still think going into the gunship was the right call. Because I think removing Kraken was more important. And as I said, if I'd had that tractor shot from Ketsu, there's every chance that the prototype is dead. I've not actually taken the health off him. I've added the crit, so he is on 2, not 4. And at the same time, you've got 1 Vulture on 1 Vulture on 2. So those are, if I can get those numbers down.
Yeah, because it's interesting because it's like, would it have been better for you to have 3 objectives and the Geonosian prototype is on more health? Because obviously the proton cannon wouldn't have hit me. Or would you prefer the Geonosian prototype to be where I am, but I'm still up on objectives? There's the question.
It's a conundrum, and I honestly think in the game you wouldn't know the answer until the end of this round. It all depends on how this round goes.
Yeah.
But I have I assume you're dropping bombs because why wouldn't you? Like, I've lost.
Ketsu's right there.
Ketsu's right. So I need to go fast enough to skip past the bombs. But also I need you to go fast enough to give me space to go fast enough.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Because I'm I'm thinking I've got to gun Ketsu really fast. Assume she bumps into something, but get her away from the bombs. And I've got to make sure Tel isn't there so I can pick up a red focus.
Yeah. So this is the turn where I probably make the biggest mistake of this game for me. And we're getting it. So I drop the bombs because Ketsu's got to be in one of them, and Tel might even be in some of them, depending on how you decided to sequence this. DFS 2 banks past CAD and takes the calculator, so you can pass it. I believe that my Vulture that had a stunned pilot, just 4 straights, and no, that's damage sensory. He 4 straights and cleans it. My stunned pilot tries to 2 bank past Tel, but bumps, so doesn't move. And at this point, I realise everything has gone wrong. My tubs basically do 2 hards and calculate. My Bactoid prototype tries to do a 2 hard and bumps into the back of my Vulture and takes a damage. And then my gunship is going to bump into one of my Techno Union bombers. Luckily, does not take damage.
But like the Bactoid bumping, it took a damage, but it's out of Tel's arc. I mean, I know I've got to move, but where do I move here?
The reason I'm saying it's a screw up is I needed it facing towards CAD.
I mean, that's fair.
That's the reason I think I needed it basically pivoting a lot more. I mean, yes, I'm still going to shoot at Tell, but I didn't know that Tell wasn't going to make it.
Yeah. So Tell attempts are too hard, but doesn't make it. But is only enemy, so takes a red focus. And then Cad too hard because I was expecting more of your ships to be slightly further that way. And I claim the center because at this point I'm just like, a boost or barrel roll doesn't really get me much. I've got to stop hemorrhaging points because again DFS is going down that way. Ketsu attempts a 4 straight because I thought your gunship would be further forward than that because if it hadn't have bumped it would have been.
Yeah.
And annoyingly I land on the rock and I take 2 damage. So more importantly I'm not shooting, which is critical.
You also take 1 bomb, and I take a crit on one of my Techno-Union bombers as well.
I believe yours is a fuel link and mine is a stunned pilot. Luckily, I'm already on the rock. So
luckily, you're already on the rock.
I do get to pass a tractor over, though. And I opt to give it to the the gunship. And then I barrel roll you, and we just have to... We're trying to work out whether I want you to go forwards or backwards. Because I'm trying to get you into range 2 from Tell so that I can sink laser cannon into you and then still double tap with MiGs. Because I believe that someone's got a stress.
No, I don't think anyone does.
I'm sure I double tap. What is it? Oh, I don't know. But anyway, I do get you into range 2. Ketsu's not shooting. So I shoot the Sync Laser Cannon. I end up with crit, which goes through because...
The gunship dies.
Yeah, the gunship dies. Cad doesn't have the bullseye shot. So I think I go range 2 into the White Vulture because you have no mods.
No mods, only friendly mod.
I roll 2 hits.
I roll Jackal, focus blank, and so that is a Vulture down.
And then you go into...
And then I go into Tel Travura, and I get you down to 1.
Get me down to 1. I hull breach and a fuel leak now.
Then I shoot into Cad, and I put some damage in with my Techno-Union bombers. I get you down to 3.
Yeah, 3 with a disabled power regulator. But that won't kick in until the next turn because I've already engaged.
And then you score 2 points and I score 1. So it's 13-9 to you. And I'm thinking, I needed Tell to die because he's just in the way.
Yeah.
Even if you then... So also, when you replace him, I get to see where you put him before I put my dials in. So it's also not the end of the world. I guess you probably go far away and face off against DFS, but that's just the price of getting the points. Anyway, DFS... like 5 straights or 4 straights, I can't remember, and he claims the far objective. My Vulture, who bumped into Tell, decides to be sensible and just do a straight maneuver and calculates. My yellow Techno-Union bomber does a 4 straight and claims the center objective. My red Techno-Union bomber does a 1 hard to the left and calculates. And I can't remember what my Backtoy prototype does. I think I just do another 2 hard and I red calculate because I'm just hoping that Cad I'm hoping that Cad bumps into my Vulture, and then he's just at range 1 of my 2 tech tubs.
Spoilers, he does. He attempts to do the 5k, which you've put the Vulture in right in the way. He bumps into Tell, but not because he would have gone past. No red focus because stress. Tell does a 2 bank to the right because, quite frankly, I didn't have another option for not hitting Ketsu. And then Ketsu just does, I think, a 1 or 2 straight and bumps in, just a 1 straight, I think, and bumps into the back of your Techno-Union bomber. No, it must have been the 2 because I class as bumping into Cad. Because I wasn't expecting Cad to be there. And I take another damage.
And I think you Unkar Plut.
I do Unkar Plut for a focus. No, that was it. I don't think I bumped in. I think I Unkar Plut there to take. I'm guessing a lock somewhere, and then focus because I'm sure I just gave myself a stress. I pass a tractor to red because it's the only one I can pass a tractor to, and attempt to boost him in front of Cad, which unfortunately doesn't work. And then I opt for the range 0 into the red bomber and roll 3 hits.
So I take some more damage. I take 2 damage, I believe.
Yeah, because you roll a focus and spend your calculate.
Spend a calculate. Yep.
Cad, I think, gets the ion from the same calculator, but fires the proton cannon into the brown Hal Chal. I roll hit. I marksmanship and cannon for 2 crits.
I roll blank evade, so I take a single crit.
I should have made you re-roll that with Zuck. Oh no, because I stressed, that's why I didn't.
Yeah, you're stressed.
And then I pass you the ion over.
Yep. Then my back-to prototype shoots range 1 into Cad. I get 3 hits, and you dodge 1, so Cad's down to 1.
Cad's down to 1.
And then the tub range 1's into Cad, and I only get 1 hit this time, and Cad dodges.
And I dodge it. But you score another 3.
I score another 3 points, so 13-12. But I'm running out of health on the boys. Yeah, but so are you.
Yeah.
And like, whilst Tail will come back,
Ketsu won't.
It's interesting. Ketsu won't. Cad won't. Like, this is very close.
Like, I have 5 health left.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of. Obviously, Tail comes back, but... And the problem Tail has is Tail kind of has to hard turn left now, which is going to be white, so I still can't claim that objective.
Yeah, because you are stressed, which is very awkward for you.
I actually wonder, looking at that, maybe I should have just one bank to the right. That might have left me. I don't know if it would have left me range 1. I don't think it would. And another
probably not.
And another straight maneuver isn't going to do me much good.
Good. I mean, how does Tail work if you just drive off and die? I guess you don't work.
I haven't looked at that because it's fleeing.
It probably doesn't. Yeah. Anywho, DFS does I believe this is a 1 hard to the left and a barrel roll link into a calculate because I just trying vainly to point arcs at your low health ships. My ionized Howard Child does a 1 bank and then nothing else. The Techno-Union Bomber does a 2 straight over the top of Cad. I barrel roll to the right and link it into a target lock onto Ketsu because I'm hoping that she's going to go fast over the top of me. And then the exact same from my yellow Techno-Union Bomber. The back to the prototype does just a 1 straight red calculate after bumping into Cad.
Tail does the 2 hard, stays stressed. Cad does a 2 bank to the left because I thought chasing after the vulture was a little too obvious. And on 1 health, I kind of need to save points here because, like, there is a scenario where you just win this round.
Yeah.
Or
at least make it impossible for you to win.
Yeah, certainly. If Cad dies, you're up to 19.
Yeah.
And I take a target... I cloak. That's what I do. I cloak to give myself some options next turn. And Ketsu attempts a 2 bank, which doesn't clear. I bump him sort of behind everything. Green's got a range 0 shot into me, but that's it. And I take the red focus. And I give the tractor to the red Techno-Union Bomber, who's in front of me. I denied about doing it into green and moving you into range 1, but then I figured you probably just rotate and shoot.
I just rotate and I shoot Cad.
Yeah.
At that point, I just rotate, shoot Cad.
If I barrel rolled you left, you wouldn't be able to, right? Because you can only rotate 90 degrees.
Yeah, so I can rotate down towards Ketsu, and I reckon I can see Cad at that
angle. Maybe. If I put you forward, I don't think you'd be able to. But
we will never.
That's hindsight. But no, I opt to leave you there because at least Ketsu's only taking a range 0. Your Techno-Union Bomber's got 4 health and a fuel leak. Maybe I get lucky. I roll range 1. I roll hit, focus, blank. I spend the focus for 3.
I blank out, and so I take 3 damage and die.
No, maybe I must have not knocked the damage off. Maybe it must have taken 2.
I have a feeling I'd taken like 3 to 4 damage.
Fair.
Yeah.
That
bomber is off our screen.
Yeah, that was it. I think I took it off someone else instead, but
yeah.
Yeah, so red dies.
And then I believe, have a range 0 shot into Ketsu. I get 2 hits out of hand, though.
But I roll 2 evades.
And then DFS 311 has a shell shot into a cloaked CAD.
And I know
and
what...
This is my Hail Mary.
Yeah, but I know what that droid rolls like, so...
I roll crit focus blank. I spend the calculator for crit, and unfortunately CAD does roll enough evades.
2 evades, 1 blank, 1 focus, which 4 dice about average?
It's about average.
It's like, I think it's literally either that evades an evade or a focus.
Yeah. Like I said at the time, I needed CAD to just blank.
Yeah.
At that point.
Doesn't hugely matter, but I did Notorious green when you when you shot range 0 into Ketsu, because why not? It's the first time someone had actually shot into Ketsu.
Yep.
3 damage.
Despite the fact that you've taken about 7 damage.
Yeah, I got 3 health left, and that's all come from bombs, self bumps, and rocks.
Don't forget Unkar.
Oh yeah, sorry, 1 from Unkar. You're right.
But I do score 3 points from the objective, so it's 16-15. Like, this is still close. But I think in my head I was like, I think I need too many things to go right for me to be okay, and you just need one thing to go right for you.
See, I'm like, I think this comes down to who destroys a ship first. Or not necessarily who destroys a ship first. I think it comes down to whether you destroy a ship.
Yeah. Because... Like, if I can kill Ketsu, I've just got this.
Yeah. Whereas if I can kill anything else really, plus not lose Ketsu, then I've probably got this. Because Tel's going to 1 back and claim that bottom objective, and it's probably too late for you to start swinging around and get it back.
Yeah.
So system phase, Cad decloaks to the left so he can swing away from everything that's shooting at him.
So I basically 2 bank away my wounded Howard Char and just take a calculate. DFS 2 hards in, trying to basically block where possibly Ketsu will go. My strained bomber does a 4 straight. Basically, I was trying to block Ketsu from going to the right in the hope that she would either go straight or left, and then I'd have at least 1 or 2 shots into her, depending on where she went. And so my other Technique bomber just does a 1 straight. Because my thought is, if she goes right, she bumps into the bombers, DFS has a shot. If she goes straight, she shoots my Howard Child, the tub has a shot. If she goes left, then I score several points on the objective and we have another turn.
Yes.
Was my thought. So it was like, okay, let's see what happens.
Cad 2 banks away, and I think Reek takes a focus. Tel 1 banks and claims the objective. And I did attempt the 3 hard with Ketsu, because I thought you'd think I was going straight. And I was thinking, if I can 3 hard round, it's blue, I could claim that centre objective. But alas, no. And I opt for the red focus. And then we check for start of engagement stuff. And I think I opt to give the tractor to the green factoid, because you've got 2 health left, and if I remember rightly, aren't you still strained?
I am still strained because I had to move. I had to speed move basically to jump over where I wanted the tub to go.
So no green dice, and this does mean that I'm taking the shot back from DFS,
but it's not a shell.
But it's not a shell, and it's like maybe I should have shot DFS. But
to be honest, no. Shooting the Bactoid is right because you're just more likely to kill it.
Well, that's what that was my
DFS is on full health at the same range, and would have a green.
Yeah.
Like sure, so the Bactoid has no green. So all you need to do is roll 2 successes.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like I don't have a way of modding blanks, so whereas I do against obviously the Bactoid because it's strained and notorious.
Yeah.
I rolled 3 hits and a crit though, so
I die.
So you die.
And you get 2 points.
Yes.
And then shoot range 1 into Ketsu, I get 2 crits, and you roll 2 evades.
I roll 2 paint, I spend the focus for 2 evades. To go 19-17.
Yeah. And so at this point, I think I've probably lost, unless you really heck up with Ketsu.
I was going to say, all I've got to do is Ketsu not to die. Because I don't think you have a way of getting the bottom objective that Tel's just claimed.
I don't. I do try, but I don't.
So I'm like, so long as Ketsu doesn't die, I've got this. Because the best it can end up is 2019.
Yeah. So my Howard Charl does a 2 hard and barrel rolls into a calculate. My DFS, basically 5 straights in the vain hope that would somehow net me in range of the objective. It doesn't, so I calculate. And then the tub just does a 2 straight. I think this is a mistake. I should have just 1 straighted and just hoped that you went slightly fast.
That's fair.
But I 2 straight and I calculate. Tell jumps onto a rock and dies out of sheer arrogance.
Okay. Yeah, he dies and goes into reserve, so I keep the points. I wasn't actually intending, like, it wasn't intentional to get on the rock. I was just going to come in, honestly, see if I was range 1 of the center objective and try and claim that. The rock was like, doesn't really matter if I land on the rock, because you don't claim points for ships in reserve. But it was like, I'd rather he was alive. Because also, again, even if you'd stuck a ship in front of him and killed him, it just goes into reserve. So yeah, he does the tail thing. Cad just won hard and stays out the fight. Took a target lock on DFS. Why not? And Ketsu just did a 3 straight and bumps into the back of DFS. I pass a tractor to the Technion bomber.
This is absolutely where I screwed up. I should have just 1 straighted and hoped that you went fast, because even if you claimed the objective, Ketsu's 6, so if I had managed to kill her, I would have at least caught up.
Yeah.
But I did a silly.
I kill the vulture.
Yeah, and then it's even more over.
Yeah.
22-19 in the end, though. It was very, very close. There were a couple of things that really swang it. I think my biggest mistake was in the turn I didn't kill Tell was really think about where I was going, because I just needed the bombers to turn to face Cad, and by bumping I just basically made so that all of my bombers were suddenly no longer facing the same direction.
Yeah,
which made it a little awkward.
Whereas I think my biggest mistake was just lobbing Nom Lum at you.
Yeah,
quite manually. I should have lobbed Tell at you.
Yeah, because then because in this case, I would have had to go for you. Which I guess I wonder if I do go for Tell, but I feel like it'd be silly not to.
I mean, maybe you don't fire the shells into him, but again, that's kind of a win for me, because if I can just plink a couple of damage off before we go into the main thing, then great. But yeah, no, it was tight right up until the end. Just Ketsu doing work with the tractor.
Yeah, quite literally.
I honestly think that if I hadn't have had the her on the rock, then I would have I wouldn't say handily have had this game, but it would have been a lot easier for me.
I wonder if I should have just gone into Ketsu, because I could have. It just wouldn't have been great. Instead of Nom Lum, because obviously Ketsu was right there.
I mean, the flip side of that is that, and I didn't have token or anything for defense.
The only thing that would have changed is I couldn't have fired the plasma torpedoes, but I fired the plasma torpedoes into unshielded ships anyway. It was just a matter of the 3 dice guns.
And I suppose it would have triggered Notorious, but if you killed her, that's irrelevant. Nom Lum would have had a slightly better shot, but it means that I think her dishing out the tractors was key.
Yeah. Maybe I should have got into you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Ketsu isn't there, then I have better defense. I'm not getting moved around.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, had I just taken off your shields, you might have been a lot less likely to do the 5k knowing where the bombs were going to be.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then if Ketsu's taking a turn or 2 out, then I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've only got 4 ships. I don't really have the ability to just leave one out for a few turns.
But that is the power of hindsight. I just thought removing a ship would do.
Yeah.
And Nom Lum was the only one my guys could get locks onto.
Yeah. But it was a fun game.
It was a fun game.
The XWA points look really nice. Like everything, every faction has valid ships in it, like good ships. I don't think, and I think multiple good ships. It's not each faction is going to end up with one list that's viable. So yeah, I'll look forward to practicing these for Cornish Nationals at the end of October.
Yeah, I'll probably be flying something similar to this for Cornish Nationals. I'm not sure about the back to the prototype. I like it. It's it or a vulture. Like, what's better, an extra shell or extra health?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think it comes down to how often are you going to get that shell off, or how often is it going to get initiative killed? And actually, I say that, but just having one more shell, it's one more ship. So if they initiative kill 3 ships, you've still got one more shell than you would have. Yeah, it's interesting.
Definitely the super secret dark tech of bring a precise hunter and give him a jamming beam.
Yeah, maybe. Well, on Sam's secret sauce, we will wrap it up for this week, and then we'll see next week what he's done with it. So
probably nothing.
Fair. I'll just say, see you guys next week.
Ta-ta.